Hello fellow airplane collectors, welcome back to another video. It's your host Ray. Today I'll be reviewing the Alaska Airlines Boeing 737-900 in 1/4" scale made by NG Model. This model was released in April of 2021, and due to legal issues as well as production issues, this model didn't start arriving to people's doors until May and June of 2021. So it was quite a long wait, but honestly it was well worth it. Other than that, I really don't have much else to say, so let's jump right into the review. First, I'll talk about the box, then I'll perform an in-depth analysis and discussion of the model and its features, including pros and cons and anything else I feel needs to be mentioned. And at the end of the video, I will give you guys my personal opinion about what I think of the model as a model collector. So let's begin. So here's the box. Take a moment to look at the box art. It is quite nice. And I will now show you around the box. If you'd like to observe a certain part of the box for longer, feel free to pause the video to do so. So here's the bottom, here's the right side, left side, top, and here's the back. Back here you'll just see a ton of warnings as well as the NG Model social media, so if you'd like to read this, feel free to pause the video to do so, but I will continue the review. To gain access to the model, take the left or right side of the box and open up the flap as shown here. Make sure you do this carefully in order to prevent from damaging the box. And here you can extract the model's packaging. Here you will see the model encased in its packaging. The packaging consists of two clear plastic parts, and they are fitted quite loosely together in order to allow you to access the model easier. To gain access to the model, do the following. Remove the top piece of plastic like this, and remove the plastic sheet that protects the model's features, and simply extract the model. It should be a relatively easy procedure. And here's the model. It's quite nice, to say the least. I will give you guys a quick 360 of the model just to show you guys around, so if you'd like to observe a certain part of the model, feel free to pause the video to do so. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this short part of the video. So here are the model's dimensions. As you can see, these are in centimeters, so if you do prefer to measure in a different unit, please make your conversions accordingly. Generally speaking, this model is a relatively decent size for a 1/4" scale aircraft, and the size is accurate, so do not be concerned about that. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about the size, so if you want to make your conversions or look at this page for longer, feel free to pause the video to do so, but I will continue the review. Starting up at the nose of the aircraft, you can see the nose is made very nicely. The shape is accurate, and I do not notice any defects in the shape. And moving down the fuselage, you can see there is a lot of printed detail. There is some sort of text down here, but I'm not sure what that says. And there is a one-word logo right here and all of the fuselage features. All of these are done very nicely. The colors are very accurate, including the Alaska logos, as well as the colors in the rear of the aircraft and at the bottom of the aircraft. And the white color of the aircraft seems to be accurate as well, so the colors are very nice. That's all I have to say about details, so I will move down the fuselage. If you'd like to observe a certain part of the fuselage for longer, feel free to pause the video to do so. Here's the tail, and you can see my camera is displaying the incorrect colors. These are not the real colors you'll see on the model, so do not use this to judge the colors. The tail and all of its details are printed quite nicely, including the logo here. Looks really cool. And here's the registration, which is November 434 Alpha Sierra. I think I said that correctly, I'm not sure. So yeah, very nicely done. Moving towards the rear of the aircraft, here you can see the horizontal stabilizers. There isn't any printed detail on these, so they look not very detailed, but they are made correctly, and the wing flex for them is also correctly done, so that's very nice. The APU is not very detailed, but that's not a complaint because this area of the aircraft is very small, so you can't expect much detail to be here. Back here you will see some sort of, I'm not sure what this is called, but like a anti-collision contraption, I'll just call it that. This part here, it's a little lump back here. That's what I'm talking about. It's used for for takeoff purposes. So if the pilots do pull too hard on the yoke and the aircraft pulls up too steeply and the tail hits the runway, this prevents the aircraft from being damaged. So that's what that's for. Here's the right side of the aircraft. It's virtually identical to the left side, so I won't provide any analysis or commentary on this part. So if you would like to observe a certain detail, feel free to pause the video to do that, but I'll continue the review. So here's the wing. The wing is made very, very nicely. There is no errors whatsoever. You can see there might be some, I'm not sure, I think some debris got caught in the gaps, not the gaps, but the indents of the air brakes and flaps. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, but I guess it highlights the details, so that's quite nice. In terms of printed detail, there is a decent amount of printed detail here, and I don't notice any issues with it, so I can say confidently that it is done with very high quality and good quality control. In terms of something that I'm very picky about, the wingtips, these are done flawlessly. There is no issues with them whatsoever, and here you can see the left wingtip. I don't see any issues with it, and something that NG model did do frequently with their 737s, for two of mine at least, there would sometimes be some sort of bend on the scimitar tip down here at the bottom. Here you can see this model does not have any of that, so that's quite nice. Here's the right side, if you'd like to observe it really quickly. It's identical to the left side, so it's rather pointless in showing it, but if you do notice any differences, just take those into account. Here's the top of the right wing if you were wanting to see that as well. Please excuse my shaky hand, I don't do well holding these in the air. Now let's talk about the engines. The engines are very highly detailed and they're made very nicely, correctly overall too. I don't see any issues with them. So here's the exhaust. It's colored a dark metallic gray, same as the interior, same as the fan blades and the inside of the engine, which are also made very nicely. It looks very nice overall. And you can barely see it now, but here you can see there is a really nice amount of printed detail on the underside of the engines too. So very nicely done on NG's part right there. Here you can see a horrible attempt at showing you the bottom of the aircraft, so take a moment to observe the details down here. Very nicely done down here as well. I don't see as much printed detail, but there is still or either that or I can't see it very well because most of it is white. There is a very nice amount of printed detail down here, so there is no lacking in details down here. One thing that did come defective with this model is the paint of the 900 extra range logo right here. You can see that one of the zeros was actually either didn't finish drying or something happened to it, but there was a ton of blue residue down here, so I had to clean that off. I just licked my thumb and wiped it off, and it came off relatively easily. So just please note the printing on this model, specifically down here, might not be the best, so just take that into account. In terms of communication details, there is a decent amount of antennas and a Wi-Fi box you should be aware of. First, we'll start up here on the top of the fuselage. There are two antennas, one right here and one back here. This one is very small, and it seems that it's hard to break. Just be careful with it though, because if you do break it, there's no going back. And here's a Wi-Fi box, or Wi-Fi dome, made very nicely, no issues with it whatsoever. Down here at the bottom of the aircraft, there are three antennas in their usual locations for a 737, one right here and two back here at the back of the main wings. All of these are made very nicely, and there is no bends or issues with the way they're mounted on the model. Here's the wing flex of the model. As you can see, there is no issues with the wing flex whatsoever. This goes for the main wings as well as the horizontal stabilizers. Take a moment to observe this. But yeah, overall, in my opinion, and from what I see, there is no issues with the wing flex whatsoever. Now let's talk about the landing gear. Overall, the landing gear in this model is made very nicely, very high quality. Here you can see the front wheel. The wheel does roll, but one little issue about this one, the wheels themselves are spaced out quite a lot here, and there's no way to fix that, so it doesn't look too nice, but at least the wheels roll, so that's quite cool. As for the main landing gear, these are also made very nicely. I don't notice any issues with these. The wheels roll very nicely as well. And I should mention the wheels are made out of rubber, so that's also a very cool detail. When setting the model on the ground, there is no balance issues whatsoever either, so that just goes to basically confirm that the landing gear are made very well. That concludes my in-depth analysis of the model. Overall, it's a very nice model, very high quality, but good luck trying to get one because these sold out like hotcakes when they were announced, so I'm not sure if they're in stock anymore. But yeah, in my opinion as a collector, the defects definitely are outweighed by all of the good things about this model. And this is the first time NG does use a 737-900 mold, and I just have to say they did it very nicely. On the other hand, this model is very expensive, but I think it's well worth the price. It's very high quality, and I highly recommend it. Thank you so much for watching. That's all I have to say about this model. Feel free to check out my channel for more 1 4 inch scale model aircraft reviews. And if you want to show the channel some support, feel free to subscribe. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.